Hello, my little Liebfrau Milches. How are you? I am back in Florida, and my name is Mr. Moohead. And I've been doing this podcast for 20 years. And it never gets old. And I missed more shows, really, over the course of this recent time than I have in any of the 20 years. Thank God it's not health problems. It's this whole re-landing for the summer back in Ohio and a second home up in Ohio and trying to get all of the things done. I was up there for about 6 days. It had really nice weather. It was really nice. I got to go back to my my hometown in Canton and check out my old neighborhood and drive the town. And I was all over the place. I mean, to be very honest with you, in the quest for home furnishings and all of the things that go with the purchase of a new home, I was in every town imaginable. You name it, I was there. From the east side to the west side. I love LA. No, I love Northeastern Ohio. So yeah, on the one hand, you're around Hudson and on the, and then heading up toward the eastern suburbs of Cleveland, and then the hood where you could get killed. And then the west side of Cleveland and coming down Interstate 71 and 77. And then you're hitting places like, Barberton, which you could die in, and Medina, that Sir Mix-a-Lot got all wrong. I don't know how he did that. All the way into Amish country. So down out to Oroville, to Holmes County, no, not Holmes County, Wayne County, and then down into places that I'd never heard of before. Where in Akron did you go? The hell out. The hell out of Akron. I really was staying in the surrounding areas. I was not in the city core. And what is considered, I mean, it's really a blur now between no, Rick, I didn't say hello to Mary Kay Cabbagehead. I don't think that she would accept my call. Hi, Bronk. How you doing?
Whoa.
As far as where in Akron did I go? 76 was all butchered to hell. Honestly,
wow.
There is so much. I guess there was some kind of a thing with a natural gas company that lost a lawsuit, and they're doing so much road construction. I really kind of stuck with Interstate 77 and was going, across that way. West Akron is great, Amsterdam says. In the Merriman Valley, I didn't actually drive through the Merriman Valley. I was up around, Gent and Bath and around there, and then Peninsula. Yeah. And just driving through areas to mainly to get acclimated to what roads went where, and seeing how everything connected. Because if you're living on the west side, which is where I'm going to be, you got to find the roads to get to where you want to go. And the places that I'd want to go, I remembered some stuff, but when I went to Amish country, it was Holmes County, not Wayne County. And so it was a kind of a different thing going out on Route 585, for example, as you go out that way. And then you start going south on what is it, 94 into the middle of nowhere into Fredericksburg, Ohio. Wow. It was really interesting when I was around Mount Hope. It was empty, except there are a lot of horses and buggies. There's a furniture store out there that I was over at. I was at Runyon's Furniture in Oroville. I was up in Wadsworth. I was in Norton. I was in Medina. I was in Canton. I was in North Canton. My goodness. I think I was in Massillon and all over the place. It was a lot of fun.
So you have a girl in every one of these towns now, huh?
Yeah, righto. Righto, Alex. Uh, you know, that's interesting, Rick. I thought it was an Oriole, and I thought I was in Baltimore. Is that what it is? Is that the orange, the blackbird with the orange beak, kind of?
That's a blackbird normally.
Yeah. Well, he's saying that something called an orange cone, and I've heard of Orange Julius back when I was in Ohio the last time I was there, but never that
He's
before.
talking about construction cones on freeways.
No, I was seeing
He's
some
trying to
really
be
unique
funny.
birds. He's ahead of me on this. Lanning's restaurant on Ghent Road is great. It used to be. I don't know if it still is, but it used to be. Oh, David, you're in East Akron. No slights intended. Actually, I didn't get a chance to go out to like Ravenna, Rootstown, Talmadge. I didn't. Hiram's up on the northwest side. I didn't get a chance to go on that side, so I can't speak for that. I mean, there's growth on both sides, and a lot of intercity flight heading south from Cleveland to Akron. That much I know. Hey, Mark Ross, how you doing? I hope you're doing well as well. Around the Ellet area, yeah, I wasn't there, but I'm sure that I'm going to have plenty of opportunity. I mean, it's like bi-directional there, and you're always close to something, and that's what I kind of like about the area. It was really kind of nice to drive the area, and I got a little subcompact SUV and was toting around. It was let's pimp. Yeah, we're pimping now, man. Grill 91. I didn't get a chance to eat there, but that is supposedly a really, really good restaurant that is a locally owned place. And I was reading about it, a guy named Joe, and he's been in a different location in the past, and he's moved into the Ellet area, and he really is. I hear nothing but great things, and I feel bad that I didn't get a chance to eat there.
Well, I've never heard of Ellet, so there you go. But I've been away for 40 years, so
yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah, and isn't that the case, Rick? Nobody knows who the hell I am. I'm still waiting for the first person in the next 20 years of this podcast to recognize me on the street, if I'm actually still alive and on the street 20 years from now. So I think that's really kind of I've missed my time on air here, and I apologize for missing shows, but the bottom line is you got to do what you got to do. And today we're talking about the Cleveland Browns schedule, and the schedule, I've always said that the most difficult thing in the NFL is to be one of the lousy teams and to dig yourself out of it. And even if you do dig your way out of it, like the Browns did in one season, you're right back in it the next. If you don't have a sustainable kind of situation, and it reminds me, Jim, I've bought a second home in Northeast Ohio. So yes, and I will be there for the summer starting on June the 10th. That I know as well. So, but man, I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be really getting busy. Not with the neighbor's wife, but just trying to get this house filled with furniture and to try to get everything done that needs to get done in any opening of a home. So yeah, I'm going to be around. So you better look out. I'm a world shaker. But the story that I saw that really, and it wasn't even a Cleveland story, it's that this whole Thursday night NFL primetime season opener is the Chiefs versus the Lions.
Isn't that like the Christians versus the Lions?
Yeah, I mean, look at this. No, in this case, the Lions would not be favored. But
Yeah,
the thing that's crazy about this is that the Lions finished out the year 8-2, and that's what
they did.
they're predicating this on. And they're saying, well, look at a great job, Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell. What a great job Dan Campbell's done with this Lions team, and they're ready for it. They're ready for it, by God. They're ready.
Oh,
and yeah,
this
Amsterdam,
psycho.
I am actually flying into Akron, Canton, or Canton, Akron. And you got to
Canton,
get that
Akron, yeah.
separated now because Canton gets main billing. It's the Canton Akron airport, and that's where I'm flying into because it puts me in a better position to get to where I need to get to. If you're the Detroit Lions and you're at Kansas City, and it's like we're rewarding you. This is what the league said. You know, we're rewarding the Lions for that 8-2 finish. It's like, no, you're not. You're going to subject them to getting slaughtered by the Kansas City Chiefs in the season opener and humiliated on national television.
International television, to be precise.
That's right. I mean, it's so hard. I mean, it's like you don't have a chance to breathe and say, well, we really improved ourselves, didn't we? I mean, you're right into the next season, and the next thing you know, your Patrick Mahomes is just torching you on their own field, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I love the fact that we only got 2 primetime games. A, because I could fucking sleep. They don't start at 1
yeah,
in the morning. And B, we're not subject to international humiliation if we lose
well,
these games.
but, you know, so anyone who tells you that, you know, well, they earned their position here, it's like, no.
No.
How many teams do you know in the NFL that are bad, have been bad, and continue to be bad? That's the way, they like it. That's
At
it.
least 8 or 10.
And we're one of them.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
the Browns, when I look at their schedule, it's like, and I don't want to start out, before the season even begins as being a negative Nelly, but I mean, what in the hell is this? I mean, 3 of the first 4 games are against the divisional foes, and the season's over. I mean, do you realize the Browns would be favorites against none of them? None of them. Not the Bengals. No. Not the Ravens. No. And the Steelers. No. So if you lose those 3 games out of your first 4, you're like Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill. You're never going to get it to the top of the hill. This is a crotch kick from the NFL to the Cleveland Browns, folks. It is like, we're going to drive your testicles up into your stomach as far as we can and watch you go, ah! That's what this is. I mean, stop and think about this. We have a home opener against the Bengals. All right.
Yeah.
If you win that game, then, people will start saying, hey, maybe we can get out of this early mess. The problem is we have a bunch of new people who have to suddenly gel in the first 4 weeks of the season. And the Browns always suck in the first 4 games of the season, except that one year that we did well with Baker Mayfield in that amazing season for us.
Yeah, I mean, we're terrible in hot weather. I mean, we absolutely, the temperature gets above 65 degrees. We suck. Somebody should dig out the records if somebody from cleveland.com is looking.
I mean, if you think that, first of all, the Bengals are going to be ready because they have returning cast. They have offensive cohesion. Now, defensively in their secondary, they could be vulnerable.
Yeah.
But that would be dependent upon the team they're playing at being ready to play offense. And I've yet to see a Kevin Stefanski team come out in the beginning of the season ready to play. I've yet to see it. So I'm just assuming that the past is prologue, that this is going to be what it is.
Yeah, it's a bit like saying a mutual fund's going to keep carrying on with the same percentage interest that it's had for the past 10 years. And if it's the Browns, then yeah, you're probably right there.
I mean, it's like then we go to Pittsburgh. Does anybody
Yep.
expect Cleveland to win in Pittsburgh? No, no. I mean, if
Cricket.
Ben Roethlisberger were still at the helm, I go, yes. But the fact of the matter is, we have ways of making people look way better than they are. And, you know, you're going to get Pickett
Yeah,
out
but
there.
they got Kenny Pick Six now, so maybe
Pickett,
I don't know.
Pickett.
Pick Six, like I like to call him.
Yeah. So we'll see how it all starts out for them. But the fact is that Mike Tomlin knows how to play 500 football and knows how to win close games.
Yeah.
And we're the ones who, unfortunately, find ways to fuck up.
Did you see that photo that they publicized of the new draft class where they're all kind of like clowning around and you have that big guy with his belly hanging out with his belly
Yeah.
button? I thought that was like that would put anybody off. What he needs to do is play the games with his belly button hanging out, and it would just distract the fuck out of the center.
Dave in the chat room sent me a video, and I don't know what the significance of the blocking sled video when Callahan was working over the guy from Ohio State. I don't even know his name yet because I'm not getting psyched up about a guy who has a history like he does. But they were saying on the internet that he seemed frustrated about being coached up.
Nice.
I really don't know. I wouldn't read into anything, so early in the process. But after Pittsburgh, then you're going week 4 against the Ravens, and that's a home game. So 2 of the 3 games are home games. But if we start out the way we usually start out, that we're dead in the water if we're not winning the home games against our rivals, because the road isn't the kindest place against these teams for the Browns historically. Yep, and
we've got the extra home game this year. We got 9 home games, so I don't know. I mean, where we really were horrible last year was AFC teams that weren't in our division. I think everybody in the division went 3-3, if I remember correctly. But we were horrible against teams in the West and the East and the South. And
we have San Francisco. That's the one outlier that we have in the first 4 weeks of the season. So much, and I talk about this all the time. It's like the quarter pole, what used to be the quarter pole in the NFL season.
Now it's like a 5/8 pole or whatever.
But, the statistics are uncanny about the percentage of teams that survive and get into the playoffs with sub 500 records after 4 games. That's been the case. Will continue to be the case. And the problem for the Browns is that everybody is, if you're reading articles like I read articles, are saying, and what the Browns are trying to figure out is if Deshaun Watson is the Deshaun Watson who was from the past or the shitty one who played at the end of the year last year. And it's like, something.
No, make it stop.
It's like you sit for 2 seasons, you sit and try to get up to speed with a team that's quit already. I mean, you try doing it. And I just, for the life of me, don't understand. I don't think that there's anything missing in Deshaun Watson. I think that what's missing is in the Browns front office, the Browns approach, the Browns coaching. I think there's a lot of things wrong with that. And what I'm going to say next, I'm dead serious about. If you come out the first 4 games next year or this year, and you come out and you lose 3 of the 4 games, and you do it by not scoring points, I would terminate the coach now. There's no reason for Kevin Stefanski to be a head coach of this team. He's supposed to be an offensive guy. And, They're giving him as much as they could give him under the circumstances based on what it took to get the quarterback that they needed. But no, we don't have the greatest wide receiver room. We have a lot of bodies, but I think a lot of those bodies are going to end up hurt because they're older players. So, it just doesn't get easier, and the way the Browns end their season, and it's against the Bengals on the road. And, it's just not, DeJuan Jones. I guess I should at least get to know his name before anyone should accuse him of copying an attitude in practice. God almighty. So at any rate, that's that. I mean, and there's so many ways of looking at the schedule. And to me, the schedule is never an excuse. The schedule is to be overcome by all teams. And nobody gets a sweetheart of a deal. It's just that some teams are just better than others. We already talked about the division games being front loaded, and there's some at the end of the season as well. But it's that vast middle too that's a little bit, strange. All of the teams that made the playoffs that are going to be our opponents are spread out throughout the season. I mean, look at it this way, and this is like chopping this up, I know. Week 1 against the Bengals, week 4 against the Ravens, week 6 against the 49ers, week 8 against the Seahawks, week 10 at the Ravens, week 14 versus the Jaguars, who'd have thunk, and week 18 at the Bengals. So that is, so this is the funny part of the schedule too. From weeks 4 through 10, Cleveland alternates going against playoff opponents, including the Ravens, and the 49ers immediately after. It's certainly not an easy stretch, right? It just isn't easy for them. We have an early bye week, and the injury bug is just going, yes. So week 5 is the bye. You could say bye by week 5. You can look at it two ways, depending on whether you're an optimist or a pessimist. You can say, well, God, we need that break because, God, if we sucked through the first 4. Or you can look at it by saying, man, that means we have to play 12 fucking games. Is that right? No.
Everybody's dead.
13 fucking games without a break.
Yep.
And the players that we have on our offensive line, they're gone. Gone so long, have been gone. Ooh. They're going to be gone. They'll be carried off the field. That's going to make it tough. So the way that breaks down is a little bit funky as well. So the Browns have announced the signing of 9 undrafted free agents. I'm not sure that this ever really makes a whole hay of a lot of difference. But the list is not going to. It doesn't mean anything to me. Caleb Biggers. I don't know. Yes, Mr. Biggers. I don't. I really
like the founder of Springfield in The Simpsons, isn't it?
Yeah. Mahamoud Diabate. He's a linebacker. Thomas Greeny. Hassan Hall is a running back. Ronnie Hickman is the safety. Defensive end, Jeremiah Martin. Safety, Tanner McAllister. Defensive end, Lonnie Phelps. Linebacker, Charlie Thomas III. That's the group. And does it mean anything? Not really to me. Hopefully you'll never have to hear their names, but
have we cut down on all the players that have like the 3rd and the 4th after their names? Have we finally gotten rid of all these weirdos like John Johnson the 5th and Henry the 8th and
bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay bow bow yippee yo yippee yay
Parliament?
Atomic Dog. Yeah, David is just,
He was the funky Clinton.
yeah, he was the funky Clinton, not the fucking Clinton. big difference. Yeah, Atomic Dog. As a matter of fact, Rocks just sang Atomic Dog.
Wow.
It was just as good as Titanium.
I couldn't possibly comment.
Oh, God. No.
We're not having any dinner tonight.
Punk Funk. Yeah, that was Rick James, Punk Funk. Parliament and Funkadelic was the same band. I mean, that's
They were.
all funked up. All right. Now, if you're the good news of the first 4 weeks of the schedule is you can prove that you can play with these people, or you can prove that you just give up. And if you're like the Cavaliers, you just gave up. And we see a lot of that in Cleveland, right? For Cleveland sports, right? That's just kind of the way it is. I just hope that the team does what they're capable of doing, at least playing hard. And I have no reason to believe that between Callahan and Schwartz that they're not going to get people to play hard. The real question is the attitude head cases are going to stand out like a sore thumb. We're not going to get the crap that we got last year, letting people just play who obviously had shit attitudes on the field.
Oh, God, everybody was rogue on the defense, weren't they?
Yep, and it was more than that. It was that they weren't hitting. They were stepping back and not even trying to initiate contact.
Yeah, they were hitting, but when the guy was 5 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, exactly, and making stupid mental errors. I think that the coaching staff that we have is not going to tolerate that. I think the beginning of the season is just going to say so much. And, out of their rookie class, the Browns have signed 5 of their draft picks. Siaki Ika, Isaiah McGuire, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the backup quarterback, Cameron Mitchell, and Luke Whippler from Ohio State. Those guys are signed, sealed, and delivered. And
so the ones remaining are your buddy DeJuan and the wide receiver from Tennessee, Cedric.
Yeah. We don't even know their names at this point.
Yeah,
I keep thinking Cedric Henderson, the guy from the Cavaliers.
Wow.
No. If you're wondering, and I always wonder this.
I wonder.
Yeah, what jersey numbers are people wearing? Because when it comes to the rookies who actually get to hit the field, and usually the rookies who hit the field are guys who are backups. And when I see them, wait a minute. There's a whole lot of rhythm going round. We want the bump. Gotta have the funk. Okay, enough. Tear the roof off the sucker. Thank you for that, Rick. Rick is our local resident music guy. Somebody ripped off his Facebook identity. I had to tell him about it.
Wow.
I mean, how vapid and empty could a person's life be if they had to assume Rick's identity? I'm kidding.
We love you, Rick.
I say this because I love. But what jersey number are these people so I can curse them when they fuck up? If you see number 17 in the game, it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He's running for his life because the other 2 quarterbacks are injured. All right.
Yeah.
Cameron Mitchell, who we will see, will be number 29. And you'll think, is that Hanford Dixon? But you'll say, no, he's not that good. Then you got Whippler at number 56. Who's worn number 56 for the Browns? Because Thompson is Brian Sipe. I don't know who number 56 would be. What did Chip Banks wear?
That might have been Chip Banks.
Yeah. Ika Ole. No, Ika is number 62. DeJuan Jones is number 74. That would make him Bob St. Clair. I'm going way fucking back to obscurity. Lawyer's
Banks
son,
was 56.
Cedric Tillman was 89. Who was a Brown who was 89?
Oh, Milt Morin.
Oh, you're right.
Am I right?
Or am I right?
Am I right? He's dead, by the way.
Paul
He is
Farron.
definitely dead.
Wow.
Milt Morin.
Paul Farron?
Paul Farron.
He was an offensive lineman. What number did he wear, Mark? And then McGuire is 91, not Al McGuire. He might be 91. Banks. I don't think he's still alive, though.
Chip Banks is still alive, and he's 63 years old.
Hey, he's beating the odds. But McGuire would be 91, and I don't remember who was 91. Oh, Gerald McNeil. Thanks, Mark. My God, how can I miss Ice Cube with number 89?
Yeah, his 89 looked so huge, didn't it?
Everything looked really huge, not my dick, but everything else. Yeah, he was a slight man. So
Milt Morin.
The thing about Milt Morin is he was slow as a moving van, but boy, he bounced off people back then.
He was a moose, man. He tried tackling him, and
he would drag you for a ways.
Drag you for a while.
He couldn't get off the line of scrimmage today.
No.
Oh, so you were talking about the times and starts of games. The Steelers game in week 2 is at 8:15, and they're going to force me to do just what I'm getting out of this. They keep dragging me back in. I'm going to have to do at least a halftime show for that. I'm going to have to. I mean, that's the Steelers. I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
do that.
I'll probably stay up for the whole game like an idiot.
So the Bengals are at 1 p.m., then the Steelers at 8:15. And that's a Monday night special. And the 24th, the Titans at 1, then the Ravens at 1, then the 49ers at 1, which is all good, I love
all the 1 o'clock games. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, that makes it easy for all of us. Then we have the Seahawks at Seattle at 4, and then we have the Cardinals at 1. We have the Ravens at 1, the Steelers at 1, the Broncos at 4:05, the Rams at 4:25. The Jaguars at 1 p.m. and then the Bears to be determined. That's just to be determined whether they're going to bother playing the fucking game.
Anybody.
That's that. Why do you always curse, Mr. Muhet? Not even going to go there. So here's the other thing. They're doing the projected wins this season, and
oh my God.
Oh, yeah, I went right to the AFC North because I'm just that kind of cow. And the
wins
over-under for the Bengals is 11.5 games. So they're saying an 11-6 season is what you could expect from the Cincinnati Bengals. The Ravens...
Burrow plays the whole season, which we know this.
Well, we'll
Burrow
see.
is dead by October. They ain't winning dick.
Thank you, Alistair. I appreciate it. That's very nice of you to. And the Ravens are at 9.5, and they're projecting 10 wins because Lamar Jackson, and they're saying 10-7 for them. And the Browns over under is 8.5, and they're projecting a 9-8 season. But listen to what they say on ESPN. Is quarterback Deshaun Watson as bad as he looked in 2022? Could he rediscover the elite form he showcased in Houston? I frankly do not know. That's the reason I pass on this team. Everyone passed against us last year. That variable is too difficult to predict. If Watson plays like he did in the past, this could be a very dangerous team. But if he plays like he did in 2022, this team will finish last in the division. And I would say to Mike Clay, who wrote this for ESPN, that if you keep saying things this fucking stupid, I predict you won't have a job next year. The Steelers
Oh,
are over under at 8.5. They're projected also at 9. That's the famous 9-8 season. The thing is, how is it gonna really get done for them? The question is whether the quarterback grows or whether teams looking at the film see something and then really can read him.
yeah. I
You know.
mean, exactly.
And then if you're wondering about the AFC South really getting stout,
No.
they're basically saying 9 wins for the Jaguars. They're saying basically 6 wins to 7 wins for the Titans. They're saying the same 6 wins for the Colts, and they're saying 5.5, 5 for 6 for the Texans. So
Well, we play all those Muppets. We play every single one of them. We play the Colts, we play the Texans, we play the Jaguars, and we play the Titans.
you gotta make your hay while the sun shines. Let's put it that way.
Well, if
Uh,
everybody in the AFC North's going to end up with a winning record, then somebody's got to fucking have a losing records. Otherwise, the predictions don't add up. I wonder whether the ESPN bothered to add up the cumulative wins and losses to see whether it was even feasible what they are predicting. Probably not.
So then you have 11 or 12 wins projected for the Chiefs, like 10 wins for the Chargers. Then, well, I could see the Chargers, man.
Chargers are like the Browns. They could end up with 11 wins. They could end up with 11 losses.
I'll tell you,
and
Brandon
you never
Staley
know.
was a rising star, and then it got really stepped on last year. If he has a bad year, he could be gone. With the quarterback they have, you can't waste time. Herbert's a good quarterback, but Staley looked really unsteady in some of his decision making.
Oh yeah, yeah, weirdo with the going 4th down and
The Broncos, they're saying 8 to 8.5 wins. The Raiders, they're saying 7 wins. The Eagles, 11 wins. The Dallas Cowboys, the projection is 10 wins. The Giants, they're putting them back at 7 wins because they know the Brian Daboll story. The Commanders are getting, the over under is 7.5, but the bottom line is they might get a little bump because Snyder's gone. But
they got sold.
And the Lions are up there at 9.5 wins, but they're going to win 8-9 games. I mean, and the same thing is true with the Vikings. And the Bears are sitting around 7-8 projected, and so are the Packers. So it's another weak sister. I mean, you can see that all these teams. I mean, look at New Orleans. I mean, they're looking at between 9 and 10 wins. The Falcons 8 wins. I mean, and the Panthers 7 wins.
Teams. I mean, there's going to be some teams that we're not expecting that are going to go 12-5, and then there's going to be teams that we are expecting to be in playoffs to go 5-12. I mean, I think this has the potential to be a really weird, messed up year, depending on who gets hurt and who doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, and this is what's amazing to me. The prediction for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6 wins. And here's the comment. In my eyes, this team actually has a ceiling of double-digit wins. After a season mauled with injuries, this roster has plenty of talent. Quarterback Baker Mayfield showed with the Rams that he can be adequate when he plays within himself. When did that happen? Did I miss something? I mean, the fact is, that's what we've been saying about Baker since he got into the league. If he really disciplines himself and plays within himself, he can't do it. He lower a shoulder and run, get himself injured. He'll try to tackle a guy. He'll try to force the ball in. That is the ongoing dilemma. So that's what you have there.
It's crazy. I don't know. I mean, I'm more upbeat than you about this upcoming season, and I like the fact that we've got the Hall of Fame game to play. I don't know why, but I think we're going to get some contributions from the new defensive coordinator because all these people that are blaming our record last year on Deshaun Watson, go back and look at the games and see how we fucking lost them. And we lost them because the defense quit or the defense was out of position or there were just 15 fucking penalties that killed drives or the league mandated us to lose those games by, making bad calls on fumbles that didn't happen and all sorts of other shit.
No, Rick May, he let somebody else do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, there you go. He's got a wife for that. And his
So,
girlfriend.
and if you're wondering about the preseason, hey, I'm gonna be right down the road, man.
Yeah, you can get
The
an
Hall of Fame
executive
game.
box. You can get a box for that.
Yeah, Thursday, August the 3rd at 8 p.m., Canton, Ohio. The Browns and the Jets. And
You can do
then
a live show at halftime.
yeah, we get to play all the
Browns.
shitty team, the Jets, the Commanders, but then week two, pre-week
Chiefs.
2 is the Eagles. And then
Eagles and the
pre-week
Chiefs.
3 is the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because nobody's going to play in the third preseason game.
Maybe our backup practice squad running back will get some time to play.
So that'll be fun. Come to Canton, Ohio, Fawcett Stadium, the whole 9 yards. That'll be
Call it
fun.
Moohead Stadium now.
I don't think that they're going to do that. No. And nobody identifies with me. They don't know me when they see me on the street. When that first person says, "Hey, Moohead," when I hear that from a crowd, that's when I know I've made it.
Moohead.
Yeah. I'm purposely not talking about the Guardians because there's nothing really to talk about. This is one of the most
hitting rock bottom.
Oh my God!
Can't do it.
The most horrific offensive team. I don't know what in the hell's happened, but they just can't score runs off anybody. It's a bad situation for that team, and some high hopes early on not being realized. And our pitching staff is decimated with injuries. And, let's see. Amsterdam is asking if Brian still follows Baker. I haven't talked to Brian recently. We exchanged a lot of emails, but I haven't spoken to him. The whole situation with my father's passing and all of that, I just kind of went subterranean,
So you're gonna take rocks to a Browns game? Are you gonna take it to the Hall of Fame game or something?
No, I mean, the thing about football is you don't really want to go in that sea of humanity. You see it so much better on television, honest to God. I mean, baseball is kind of good if you have a sleep problem. They're trying to speed it up, but
it's a shit game.
You know what they should do for fat guys like me?
What?
They should just say half the seats of the stadium. We're going to make the seats twice as wide and hope to make up the difference with how much we eat at the game.
Yeah.
Because nobody's come there to see that. No, nobody's going to give a shit about this Guardians team if they keep playing like this. Their defense isn't particularly good. Zanino's a horrible defensive catcher. Just horrible. Doesn't move his feet. I mean, at least the guys who didn't hit before.
Yeah, it's better they have a 150 hitter who actually doesn't let through wild pitches and pass balls.
And who does the spike throws to second base.
Yeah.
It's
better to have a 150 catcher than one that hits 220 and is terrible.
Yeah. Next, no, Detroit already has passed the Guardians, Rick. That I'll tell you, and this is a baseball fan. Rick is a big-time baseball fan, and for him to not know that, yeah, Detroit just passed the Guardians. Here's another one. I'll shift gears because I don't have that much more to say, and I want to eat my dinner. It's really been an exhausting period for me, honestly. I mean, mileage galore, both that I put on my vehicle, my legs, my lungs, it was but it was surely a fun trip. I can tell you,
So,
I
is
had
he
some.
gonna leave the BCOD in Florida, or are you gonna take him up to
I ain't
Ohio?
taking him on an airplane. Are you fucking nuts? Like, I need that. I mean, we are Marshall. I don't
Oh
need
yeah,
that.
Marshall University. Yeah.
So, all the talk about, and it was funny, Rox and I were talking because she is a doll collector, and, about athletic dolls, the full size ones, not like the bobblehead shit, and I said, well, how many of them are there really? And I said, is there like a full size Donovan Mitchell? And it was like, no. It's
No.
like, so who are they? And it's like, well, it's the names that the LeBron James
Okay.
ones and there's a Luka Doncic. I mean, yeah, he actually has his own full size likeness, and
Wow.
Kevin Durant. But we have to start asking ourselves, why?
Why would you do such a thing?
Kevin Durant hasn't won anything by leading a team himself. 25-point loss, the second year in a row that they lost in the playoffs, the final game before their home fans, and this was a 25-point spanking to Denver. I mean, not even close. At halftime, it was a 30-point, 81-51 at the half of this game.
You know what I hope for in the playoffs? I hope the Lakers actually beat the Warriors, only because I'm sick of seeing about that stupid corgi dog and the prediction that all the games I'm sick of seeing that on social media. I just hope the Lakers win. So.
Oh, well, I got you beat, David. I got you beat. In the day, 1984, back when a cow was closer to his prime, from Ohio to Manila in the Philippines.
Yeah, that's a long way.
Unbelievably long. They put the plane down long enough in Tokyo for you to splash water on your face. You stumble back in. I mean, it's every single international time zone except one. Yeah. And you may have me beat, David, because Australia might be that one. But it's and when you're a big guy and you're in coach, with a bunch of little people,
I've done 10
and you don't understand a word they're saying because they're speaking Tagalog. It's like no one even to talk to on the plane. It was like Devin Booker's a hell of a ball player, and you could say Kevin Durant is. They don't have a teams around it, and this is what I have to say about the Cavaliers. You got to have depth. You got to have people who make contributions. I mean, the Lakers, the one game that the Lakers won against the Warriors, some guy was not named Walker, came off the bench and just filled it up in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers won. You got to have somebody who stands up and gets you to that next point. And the Cavaliers don't have it. And obviously, the Suns don't have it either.
No.
And there you go. CP3 it's never going to happen for him. You could be a really good player, don't get me wrong, but if it's the rings you want, you got to have the team. And when I say team, I don't mean just superstars. You got to have those guys who are the really nitty gritty kind of guys who have roles specifically cut out. I don't mean Lamar Stevens, and I don't mean Jetty Osman. I'm talking about people who serve a functional purpose, not being undersized rebounders or 1 out of 5 night good shooters or whatever. You need everyday contribution, and that would eliminate Jared Allen too, because he didn't try in the playoffs.
I mean, it was hard work with Kyle Korver and Richard Jefferson and Tristan Thompson and those guys, to win. But they were better than what the Cavs had.
And then Jason Tatum just ripping the 76ers heart out of their body. he sucked for the first 3 quarters. He comes out in the fourth quarter after his coach, Mazzullo, says, "I love you. And love is never having to say you're sorry."
Oh, wow.
Where should I begin? Yeah, he told him he loved him. And after the natural homophobic reaction from an NBA player, he went out and had a huge fourth quarter. And the 76ers, it's all part of the process, baby. I mean,
Wow.
Embiid already wins the most valuable player, and you almost feel like it's the consolation prize when you lose a game show. I mean, the series goes back now to Boston, and it's going to be incumbent upon the MVP of the NBA to lift that team to some kind of incredible victory in the most bigoted NBA town in America. Good luck. But to me, it always happens to them. It always happens to them. And the 76ers, they need this win really bad, this game 7, because this will just rip their heart open.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought they were the ones that were going to win it this year, but yeah.
Right now,
Probably not.
they got the win in Boston once. I don't think they're going to get another one. So that's what I know. I am finished. I am done.
You're done. You're well done.
So here's the way it's going to spell out. I'm going to be doing shows. I'll be back again on Monday. I'll be back again on Friday. But I'm getting out of here on June the 10th. And it may be a little while because I got to get that house wired for internet. And I got to set up a mesh network because the house is not, it's 2 floors and you got to get into that. It's a finished basement. It's a whole 9 yards. So you got to have the proper signal. So I got to do that. And,
does it have air conditioning?
Does it?
Does it? That's what I'm asking. Does
yes. It yeah. It has air conditioning and it has a roof. They included that in the deal, which is really impressive. Good. Yeah. I honestly don't know. I don't have a desk up there. I don't have a set location to even podcast from. I don't even have the laptop yet from up there. I've got to do all this. I got to get up there on the 10th and just got to start populating that place. There's allegedly the day I arrive, you're not going to believe this, and I'll end the show this way, but this will tell you the kind of craziness. I am going to get off the plane and I'm going to be Ubered to the car dealership to purchase the vehicle that I need to drive around there, because I can't drive from Florida to Ohio. I can't do that. My back isn't good enough. So I get my car up there, and then I go right to the house because that's when the furniture truck is coming with the furnishings that we have purchased so far. And then I have to go and get pillows and sheets and cutlery and plates and garbage trash cans and trash bags and anything else that makes a home. And then, as if that's not enough, on the 13th, Topaz is making his way in. He's being transported. He's going to take off the 10th or the 11th, but the same day I'm taking off, he's going to show up on the 13th. So I got to be at home to welcome him to a new house. And so Topaz the Wolf. So along with those sheets and blankets and pillows, I got to get doggy food bowl, doggy water bowl, doggy crate, doggy toys, doggy dog food, you name it, a doggy harness and doggy leash. All of that.
Wow.
So this is going to be crazy stuff.
Fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's good in a lot of ways that I have to get out and do this shit. But at the same time, man, whew, after the 6th day, it was coming back on the flight from Cleveland. They dumped me off, my rent-a-car company shuttle bus on the opposite side of Concourse A, which is Concourse C at Hopkins. And that's when I decided I'm not flying into Hopkins no more, because they dumped me off.
Way.
I had to walk, and they kept telling me which way to go, and it was the wrong way. I swear to God, I must have walked 3 miles with the luggage through that, because they kept telling me to go the wrong way. I get into
still have Concourse C, because last time I was there about 5 years ago, the United had pulled out.
No, they're there again. But I'll tell you, where I went to Concourse A was all the shit airlines like Spirit and Frontier,
Oh yeah, with little propellers. Yeah, they look like little Spitfires flying around.
And so I get into the plane, and about an 80-year-old woman sits next to me, and she comes bounding into the chair with endless enthusiasm. And I'm like, good for you, And then she proceeds to down 3 or 4 alcoholic drinks. And the guy next to her, who was about 38, 40 years old, he is downing 3 or 4 drinks. And the two of them are getting silly and loud. By the end of the trip, by the time the Frontier stewardess is saying, and this is why you should why you should subscribe for the Frontier credit card. And I'm not kidding you. Getting a 10-minute infomercial of why you should purchase their credit card, to which I said, I think a timeshare is better investment. Because that was the last time I was beaten to death. So I'm sitting there, and the plane finally lands, and they had to play luggage Tetris, how they do to fit the luggage. And one guy is up in row 3, but his bag is back in row 8, right? So he's getting ready to go, because he's got to get out there and get that, or somebody has to help him. But what he doesn't know is these 2 inebriated people are in the seats next to me. So he starts making his way back, and this 80-year-old woman stands up and says, "Sit your ass down." I'm not making this up.
Wow.
That's flying Frontier, baby.
That's attitude.
Sit your ass down. The guy's like, say, what? What the hell? And fortunately, somebody had a sense of humor about it. Her family was behind her in the row behind in row 7, and they were cringing, because it's like, oh God, she's hitting the bottle again. So it was a great trip back. And then once you get back to Tampa, it's still another hour to, when you get driven back to here in the Lakewood Ranch area. And I was just shot to shit, man. Totally shot to shit. So, what the hell? I have 4 weeks here to basically recharge my batteries and go at it again. So I want to thank everybody for joining me here, and thank you for your patience. I'm sorry I haven't been around more, but I will be, and then I won't be. But I will find a way up there, because one of the things I have to do, I'm going to go up to a Micro Center and get myself a laptop, because that is a necessity. And even if it's with a shitty little microphone or whatever I can do, I'm still going to get the podcast in one way or another. And we'll see how it goes. Bronk, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I think you should go to the Hall of Fame game and do a live halftime. That'd be hilarious.
You know what I want to do?
What do you want to do?
I want to go to, the Guardians game and just say, and now Stephen Kwan's coming up to the plate. I'm Dwayne Bennett, and it's great to be here in Cleveland. Tom Hamilton took the first bus out of town when he saw this wretched crew.
Plenty of good seats available. Yeah.
So thanks to everybody for tuning in. I'll be back again with you on Monday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.